By late summer, Oswald Boekcke was back on the Western Front, leading his new squadron, Jasta II, based at Lannecourt in the Somme region. The situation above the Somme had become critical. The Royal Flying Corps now dominated the skies over the region, and German ground forces were reeling under the effects of British aerial observation, artillery spotting, and trench strafing. The pilots Boekcke had assembled at Lannecourt were a keen bunch of recruits that included Erwin Bohm, Max von Müller, Stefan Kiermaier, and of course, Manfred von Richthofen. Rather than being thrown directly into combat, Boekcke, ever the teacher, set about training his Jasta pilots in all the skills they would soon need. On the ground, the flyers were treated to an endless round of lectures concerning the tactics of aerial fighting. When the squadron's new Albatross fighters arrived, the training began in earnest, as Boekcke drilled his cubs in aeronautics, formation flying, and aerial gunnery. Throughout this training period, Boekcke would often rise at the first light of dawn to fly a lone combat patrol that inevitably resulted in the destruction of an English airplane. By mid-September, when Boekcke was finally ready to lead his students into battle, his personal score had risen to nearly 30 victories. On September 17th, the pilots of Jasta Boekcke tasted blood for the first time, with Erwin Bohme and Manfred von Richthofen each scoring their first victories over British machines. Von Richthofen's kill was over an FE-2B pusher belonging to No. 11 Squadron, which the dying pilot, 2nd Lieutenant Lionel Morris, managed to land on a German airfield before expiring. The observer, Captain Thomas Rees, was already dead, earning him the distinction of being the first man to die under the guns of the future Red Baron. By sad coincidence, the Rees family suffered a double tragedy on this day, when Tom's younger brother John was struck and killed by lightning at home in England. A week later, von Richthofen scored again, this time over a Martinsyde single-seater, and then on September 30th brought down another FE-2B from No. 11 Squadron. The English pilot, Lieutenant E.C. Lansdale, had joined his squadron less than 2 weeks earlier. The gunner, Sergeant Albert Clarkson, was one of No. 11 Squadron's most experienced observers, having been officially credited with shooting down 3 German airplanes. For victory number 3, von Richthofen had been flying one of his Jasta's new Albatross D2s, which offered some good improvements over the D1, including a slightly more powerful engine and stronger wings. On the 1st of October, Boekcke scored his 30th victory, and he and his flyers were suddenly treated to a week's break from the fighting when the weather turned atrocious. By the 7th, they were up again, and this time Manfred von Richthofen scored over a BE-12 belonging to RFC No. 21 Squadron. The BE-12 was the result of a bizarre attempt by the Royal Flying Corps to create a fighter out of its outdated BE-2 Quirk design, which had been produced in such great numbers. With the front cockpit closed over and a more powerful engine installed, a forward-firing gun was mounted for the pilot's use in the unlikely event that he would ever manage to outmaneuver a German machine. Von Richthofen's BE-12 had been a remarkably easy victory to win, and had fallen near the village of Equincourt, with its pilot, 2nd Lieutenant William Fenwick, killed by a shot to the head. Von Richthofen, ever the hunter, recovered a trophy of his kill by cutting the serial number from the side of the smashed British machine. The German pilot had in fact been able to collect souvenirs from 3 of his first 4 victories. This practice was to continue throughout the career of the young Baron. At first, his souvenirs were displayed on the walls of his room, but as the collection of smashed propellers, machine guns, aircraft markings, and other mementos grew, he began sending them home to his family estate as Schweindnitz. In addition, he sent instructions to a Berlin jeweler for a small silver trophy cup to be inscribed with the number, type, and date of each victory. Every 10th cup, von Richthofen requested, should mark the decade by being twice as large as the others. The jeweler would eventually inform the flyer that there was no more silver to be had to continue the trophies, but not before he would have inscribed some 60 of the cups.